This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everybody. It has been said that when you finally get to the point where you are being you, like truly your authentic self, things change. Doors open, life changes, people treat you differently. How do we do that? I have so many questions. How do you know if you are truly being authentic? How do you get to that point? We're going to talk with a transformational life coach that helps people be their authentic selves and so much more. She is Donna Day. She's back with us on the program. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you? It's great to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you here finally doing video. We got to meet by video just a second ago, so that's very cool. I detect that you're authentic. I really do. That's what comes up for me.
Yeah, I've always been authentic, but when I was younger, I definitely tried to like fit in with everyone because I didn't really feel, I kind of always felt like a misfit. So I always kind of camouflaged and thought that was the best way to go about things, even in relationships, like I was like, oh, this seems like what they want, so I'll do more of that, even though it wasn't true to myself. And what I found, it just clashes. Things just start to continue to just, kind of get harder or fall apart or not feel right. Anxiety starts to build when you're just trying to be someone you're not.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting to bring that up because I think a lot of people don't realize it, and you might feel something's off, but not sure what it is. Like you said, if you're not being you, it's like builds up inside of you, but you might not realize it. But what does that do? You're going against who you are. So what's that going to create? Stress, anxiety. You might not even realize that that's the reason why you're feeling that way because you're not being you.
Exactly. And it can also lead to different like health issues, and everyone will relate it to stress, like work's too busy, like, or something's going on in the family. And so some people tend to try to, I guess, make that excuse or put the blame on something else because they're not actually focusing within. And because life is so busy, it's like a hustle. You get in a routine and you got to do this. You have the kids, you have to, help mom, or you have to help friends. Then you have all this at work. So you end up kind of losing that time to take to yourself to really feel what's going on. And as you continue to just stay in routine, you lose a little bit more of yourself because you're just doing what needs to get done.
Do you feel that, and there's many of us, myself included, and I've worked on this, but the people pleasers, do you feel that that adds another layer of I can't be who I really want to be because I'm conforming to help somebody else out? Meanwhile, they may have asked you to do something or whatever it is, and you're thinking to yourself, I really don't want to do that.
I definitely was a people pleaser. That was
Yep.
me my whole life, from a kid all the way up. So, and I've been definitely working out of that. Now, I stay more true to myself, but most definitely, people pleasers are the ones that get caught up in, conforming to what their boss wants, what their kids want, what, their spouse wants. And they are the ones that get kind of just lost in that whirlwind of life easier because they want to make sure everyone's happy, everyone's taken care of, and then they forget, hey, I need to take care of myself too.
But you're not being you.
Yeah.
Hmm. So how do you know when you're truly being authentic?
When you're being truly authentic, when you don't have that like feeling and you're like, I don't know, I'm a little like unsure, or this doesn't feel right. If everything just is like, wow, this lights a fire under me, or I don't have to try to bend or weave in order to please someone. It's that initial spark, or that concept of you don't have to be perfect. Because so many people try so hard to be perfect. Just be you, because every person has, a unique personality and gift. And if you kind of hide it underneath doing everything what everyone else wants, you lose it. And then the world doesn't get to experience it either. It's not even your own self. It benefits everyone in masses as well.
I feel that once we start thinking about it, we start looking at it in a different way and realizing that we're not being authentic in different ways. All right, you got the people pleaser thing. Let's put that over to the side for a
Yeah.
moment. You've got, let's say you're going to hang out with a friend and okay, you really don't want to, but you feel, well, I really need to because I want them to be there for me. So, then you just go along with it. But meanwhile, I just wanted to take some time to myself. I just want to walk my dog in town and just like chill. But no, I got to make sure I keep them on the hook there because I want them, to be happy. You're not people pleasing, but you're really not doing what you want to do, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. It's more like it feels more out of obligation
Yeah.
instead of, what is best for you at that time. And that's a tricky situation because you don't want to let people down, especially because a lot of people be like, "Oh, well, they were there for me for this reason and that reason," like, so you feel like you owe it. But if it's really not what's best for you in that moment, the best thing is to be honest. And if they're really someone that's meant to be in your life or a good friend or spouse or whoever's asking you of it, they'll be there anyway and they'll understand. It's the people that will try to make you feel guilty about it that, you might realize like, is this really the best like relationship or friendship that I have, going on? Does it actually, help me or benefit me in any way? Is it just taking away and I'm giving? It's not that equal give and take.
Hmm.
If you don't have the equal give and take, you kind of drown.
Yeah. And then you start feeling resentful and a lot of other
Yeah.
things come up. So I've heard that we have multiple parts to our personality. I'm not talking about multiple personalities. I'm talking parts of our personality where, let's say, the people you deal with at work, that's a different side of you than, let's say, at home or maybe with your kids or friends and all vice versa and all that. Is that okay? Are you really being authentic, even though you're being a little bit different, along the way there?
Uh, I mean, okay is kind of a general statement. That's, everyone has their own opinion. For me, I know I used to do that constantly and it just burnt me out. Like I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna run, this person needs this, and then okay, now I have to put this hat on or this mask on, and now I'm this, and you're kind of like, you're working harder instead of smarter when it's just be yourself. And if you're yourself and you're around the right people or in the right environments, it's just gonna feel like ease. There's not gonna be that like tension or anxiety or like, oh my God, I'm behind on this or oh my God, I have to do that. So as soon as you start being just you and true to you and understanding what's important to you, your values, your beliefs, and your passions and dreams, and you stick to them instead of bending them to cater to other people, everything in life just starts to flow. You
Mm.
get more opportunities, the right people that have similar interests will start coming towards you. Like everything just starts to happen. And I
Mm.
wasn't always a believer in that, but then I started to just surrender. And ever since I've done that, things have just been coming this way and that way. And I can literally wake up every morning and say, even if there's some challenges, I, love my life. And I wasn't always able to say that.
So I want to go to the flow, how you said things flow in a minute. So I'm going to put
Yeah.
that to the side. I'm going to get
Okay.
back to the parts of the personality. So it sounds like what you're describing is we're bending in different ways to conform in different situations, but bending against what we would normally do. I'm not referring to that. I'm going to go one layer deeper here.
Okay, let's go.
Just like the way you speak to people, like you might speak to your coworkers differently than you speak to your kids, or differently than you speak to, let's say, your partner or a friend. It's still you, but you're playing a different part. It's still you, but it's a different part. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like there's still, it's as long as you're staying true to yourself, like there's professionalism, like how you might present yourself at work versus at home, and also you might be a little bit more casual and a little bit more open or vulnerable with like your spouse or your kids or some close friends or family. But the important thing is to, stay true to yourself and not try to bend to their values and beliefs because as soon as you start doing that, you're gonna start feeling it. Your body's gonna feel it in some way because it's not being true to yourself. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have different opinions.
Yeah,
It's okay to have a different style. Not everyone looks the same. Some people, have tattoos. Some people don't have tattoos. There's all different things, but it's important to be you and not worry so much about but that doesn't mean be rude or, be inconsiderate and things like that. Just,
sure. Well, I want to go to the what you said when you start being authentic, how things just start to flow. Like it's like a puzzle. All pieces magically fall into where they should be or close to it. But right away that comes up for me is that we're not authentic for one reason, and it's the baseline of everything.
Yep.
Here comes the F word, four letters, fear.
Yes.
Fear. So where's the fear? Well, back to you're going to go help a friend move tomorrow.
Hmm.
You really have other stuff going on. You want to help them. You support them all the time. All right, I'll be there. I'll do it. But it goes against your grain. Or
Yeah.
another situation, why are you doing it? Back to the people pleasing thing where you want to make sure that they're always there for you. Maybe you're afraid to be alone. You want to always make, sure they're around, whatever it might be. It's fear though. It comes
Yeah.
back to the same thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the trick is to learn how to befriend your fear. So instead of, leaning into the fear, you befriend your fear. So that way it's, you're working with it instead of it working against you. So that's like one of my like key things that I try to help clients do is to not be afraid of their fear, but make it a friend and be on the same frequency as it instead of lowering your frequency because you're like, oh my God, if I don't do this, I won't get the promotion. Or if I don't go over here, this person will think less of me, and that type of thing. So the key is try to befriend it, just breathe and, go, is this really that scary? Or, is there something else I could do that will make it work for both parties or both sides? Instead of just feeling like that, having that obligation or like you owe something,
Hmm.
because that's when you start to slip down the other way.
It's so true. And what we don't see is the other side of it, like you said, where the beautiful things happen when you let it go. Let's just let it go. Don't worry about it. Make fear your friend, or
Yeah.
and I don't want to say enemy, but what do they say? Keep your enemies
I
close
mean,
to you, or keep your friends closer and your enemies closer. Um, but at least stay connected to it so you understand it. But
yeah.
like you said, how the universe works, where you release those things and other things come your way. Right down to, they always say, like, let's say you're in a relationship, not really supporting you, but you're going with it for a lot of the same reasons that we're talking about here.
Yep.
And if you just let that go, don't worry about it, then your person, the one that you were destined to be with, may come walking through the door. But
Yep.
you're holding on to something, so the universe says, "Oh, yeah, well, you're good. All right, nothing more coming your way." Just letting it go, like the flow, kind of like the
Yeah.
flow.
Let it go because as soon as you release something, you make room for the new. And that could be in any area. you know but that's like, it's not easy, it's hard, especially when your heart's so attached to something or you've invested in something for so long. An investment could be in a relationship or a career or something, but then all of a sudden
Sure.
it really doesn't feel right. Like everything in you is saying this isn't right for me, but because you put so much time and effort and care and love and all that into it, it's hard to just, let go, but it's sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith and like trust yourself and your knowing. Because as soon as you let those things that don't feel right go, all of a sudden you're opening all this room for things that, that you want to attract.
Hmm. And again, it comes back to fear. I really
Yeah,
believe it.
it's the
It's
same
like
thing.
it's the same, and our subconscious keeps us
Hmm.
safe because of fear, all of that. Can you think of how your life changed when you let a lot of these things go? Like maybe an example of what came your way after you let something go, or when you felt that, yeah, I'm being me, like I'm finally me.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago. It was actually 2024. I came down with a chronic pain condition because everything, I was literally just trying to help this person, help that person, do this, make sure everyone's here, okay, safe here, and not thinking about me at all. And my body just shut down. And it took a full year to finally come to a diagnosis. I didn't find out until December, and I got hit with it in February. That I had an autoimmune disease, and it was in such late stages that I, was on the brink of, am I going to get better or am I not going to get better?
Wow.
So during that time, because I couldn't really walk, I needed to be carried places. My life changed in a matter of hours from running around, being a single mom, doing this, working this job, doing that, and just to, I really can't even walk or stand. So that's the time I started doing some inner work because what else am I going to do? I can't do much more. And I started really finding myself. And then I started actually with like journaling, even doing some like art because that's very big for me. And even through music, the connection of different lyrics and stuff, it brought things. And I started connecting dots from childhood all the way up to things I was like, wow, I didn't realize I was doing that same thing. And it kept bringing me the same results. And so I kind of started working my way through it. And as soon as I started saying no, setting boundaries, doing more self-care and everything, things started getting better. I found the right doctor. He gave me the choice of, having the surgery or trying the treatment to see if it would work. I decided to go with trying the treatment.
Wow.
January, I started it, and by the end of February, I started walking. I wasn't in pain anymore. I'm still on the journey of healing, but life has completely changed. And I also was in a toxic relationship during that time, and I slowly started to move out of it. And out of nowhere, I ended up meeting someone. It wasn't even like I was trying to. I wasn't on dating sites or anything like that. And it's someone that actually shows me the love that I've always showed everyone else. And it's like an equal, balanced take. It's actually healthy. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable because I'm so used to the toxic, but it's exactly what I've always, had in my head of how a relationship should be. So,
Mm,
you
wow.
know,
Wow. Do you feel, and by the way, dating sites,
yeah,
it's
I've never done
digression,
that.
digression here, but, and all my friends say the same thing. Yeah. It like 3, 4 years ago and back, it was okay. Now, just
Yeah.
like, don't even. And there's a reason why they're all tanking financially because people aren't being authentic.
Yeah. They're
People,
trying to be what other people want.
right, or playing games or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
do you think, do you feel you getting sick, or maybe you would have gotten sick, but just the way it presented was the universe's way of saying, "Hello, Donna.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm stopping you right here, and we're resetting you. This is what we're doing for you."
Oh yeah, hands down.
Mm.
Because like I just kept going. Every challenge, everything that ever got thrown for me, I just kept moving, going, going. I think they were like, okay, you need to sit with yourself. It's time to focus on you. And I honestly, I don't know if that happened, if that didn't happen, if I would have taken the time because I was so used to just making sure everyone and everything around me was okay. I never focused on myself. So,
Mm. Wow.
and that forced me to. I mean, almost a whole year of not being able to move
I,
definitely forced me.
I can relate to this in a number of ways. It was late. It was late September. And I went to go see a
Okay.
friend in Florida. He has an Airbnb. We do some work together. Right on the beach. It was great. I go down there, like 3, 4 days, whatever. And I'm just like, I didn't do anything. Hung out with him. We had fun, but I just stared at the ocean. I would just read. I would journal. I started journaling.
Hmm.
Um, Fantastic. Needed that time. He was coughing. I was like, dude, what's going on there? Oh, it's allergies. Hmm. Get home about a week later. Now I'm sick and like really bad. Like I haven't had a fever in half my life. I'm down for the count for 4 days with this fever. Then I get acute laryngitis. Hello, this is what I do for work. Couldn't work for a couple of weeks because of it. Then I'm convinced, and some doctors are too, that I've dealt with like skin cancer here and there, just the lower level stuff. Something presented itself on my neck,
Oh
like
no.
from just a scaly nothing
Yeah.
to squamous cell skin cancer. They told me it was stage 3. I went with my intuition. It wasn't. It was removed with surgery. In 10 weeks, it grew from nothing to like a quarter. Nasty black looking thing. But my point here is number of things. That was the universe's way of saying, I'm stopping you and
Yeah.
and I'm taking away your voice because that's that's going to stop you. And
Yeah.
then it also showed me I had resilience even more than I thought in my journey. And I realized, a while back, like, oh yeah, you got more than you think. This actually took it to new levels. um,
Yeah.
but I believe that was a reset, and it's still a reset in progress. I'm still, all healed. Everything's cool, no problem. Um, but I are taking more time, reflecting, all of
Yep.
that. But yours extreme case there, but I do believe, and there's other parts of my story too that the doctor that did the surgery, he
Yeah.
operated on my mom for the
Oh,
same thing like 7 years before.
wow.
And I don't, the weirdness how she had it in the same spot. I think it's related to the throat chakra if you want to go down the energy
Yes,
road.
I
And
agree.
she didn't, she kept certain things in before she passed. She didn't pass from this, just natural causes. And I feel the same way. I think there was something there, but
Yeah.
makes you wonder, makes you think.
But I mean, that's why with what I do now with the transformational life coaching, I can help people identify those things
Sure.
before it gets to that extreme. Because, sometimes, like, if you start to realize, like, this isn't right, or I'm overdoing it here, or I'm going to burn myself out, like, if you can actually identify that sooner, then what happened to you and me won't be as extreme. It would be a little bit less. So, like, because I wouldn't want anyone to go through what I went through. So if I could help people identify and become aware of it before that, that's a blessing in itself. Because,
Yeah.
and even like when people get frustrated in traffic, with a car in front of them, they're going too slow, or, like, or, oh my God, that's the universe sometimes saying you need to slow down. It's helping you, protect you from other things. So even like minor things like that, sometimes sit back and take it as a sign instead of getting so frustrated and angry. There's a reason why you're being slowed down. So it could
Mm.
be something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be as extreme as yours and mine.
But you know what? See the opportunity in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not wishing anything bad on anybody, but as you look back, I look back, on that journey. Um, I want to be careful in saying I'm glad it happened, in
Yeah.
because I saw a number of things. Um, but I don't look back and say, well, that was horrible, damn the universe, all that. It's like, no, and you probably, I think, would say the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Hands down.
like, you're a badass for going through all that and surviving it. And what came from the other side? A wonderful relationship, realization in yourself, maybe a reset, in
Yep.
terms of how you do things. So maybe it needed to happen.
Yeah.
It's I don't
So,
know if
you know,
I'm a believer in, and I think it sounds like you are. Things happen for a reason.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Even if you can't identify what it is right away, you will be able to find it will present itself at some point.
There's a song, I think in music, because I played music on the
I
radio
love
forever.
music.
There's a song, wasn't a hit song, came out in mid 70s on an album. It's called Part of the Plan by the artist Dan Fogelberg. He has since passed away. He had a number of hit songs, like he was kind of big,
Yeah.
back in 70s, 80s. If you listen to those lyrics, it pretty much says, someday we'll all understand. And it's not a religious song. It's actually part of like a relationship where one day you feel, holy and humble, everything's great. The next day you're starting to crumble and fall. That's kind of what the lyrics are. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But it's a part of the plan. What's the plan? Someday we'll all understand. That's part of their lyrics. And I believe it. Like you said.
I got to listen to that song, but it's so true. Like, it's not like life is always just going to be a smooth roller coaster. There's always going to be bumps or waves, however you look at it. But it's not going to feel as traumatic. Like you're going to be at a place where it's like, okay, this is happening, and you're not going to get as anxious or like have panicky or like, oh my God, my life is over. You're going to just be able to be like, okay, this is what's happening. I am calm, collected, and now I can find a solution.
Yep.
That's the only difference. You know what I mean? It's not like life won't throw a curveball at you.
That's why, and you know what? If you didn't have if everything was the same and you didn't have those curveballs, you wouldn't know what good is because you didn't see, the challenges. And side note, that song that I mentioned, it sounds like it's deep and everything. No, it's an upbeat. Think of like folk pop kind of sounding song. Like Ed Sheeran could have done that song. Not even kidding.
Yeah.
Listen to it and tell me what you think next time. I'm kind of curious
definitely.
since you're into music. How does somebody connect with you, Donna, if they're looking for a transformation in their life, maybe to be authentic, try to figure this kind of stuff out? How do they find you?
The best way and the fastest way is my phone. So that's 201-719-6991, or through email, which is donnadaytlc@gmail.com. And then you can also, if you want a complimentary strategy session, just so we can talk and kind of dive in a little bit deeper, see if we're a good fit, you can just schedule one right on my website, which is donnadaytlc.com. So
cool. Thank you for today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being authentic. I really mean that.
It's been a pleasure.
Well, I said it from day one when I looked at your website. And there's just a picture of you hanging out by a harbor, jeans and a t-shirt, or shorts and a t-shirt, jean shorts, and you're just like, you're just real. Like, other people, let me put that through AI and do this like fashion shot or whatever.
Yeah.
I detected that right away, and it's so funny. Now we're talking about authenticity on a podcast. All right, I appreciate it. We'll get together next time.
All right, excellent. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.